Hello, good morning. Thanks for your company. Unfortunately, we start this hour with that breaking news out of Brown University in Rhode Island. Here's what we know so far. At 4:22 p.m. local time here in America, Brown University in Rhode Island, if you're not familiar with it, it's pretty much sandwiched in between New York and Boston on the east coast of America. The university sent out an urgent alert warning of an active shooter on campus and urging people to lock doors, silence phones and stay hidden until further notice. The alert also told people to run, evacuate safely if they could, hide, or as a very last resort, they should fight. 8 people are critically injured in hospital as it stands, and Providence Police Department have also confirmed that multiple people have died. 2 as it stands, 2 fatally dead. A previous update was issued by the university stating that 1 person was in custody and the shooter had been apprehended and the situation was over. But amid the chaos and confusion, that had since been reversed, and we can confirm there is still an active shooter on site. And President Trump also posting on his Truth Social site that the situation was over and the gunman had been apprehended. He then reverse verified 5 minutes later, saying that Brown University had put the wrong information out, and he updated his post saying that the shooter was still on the loose. An FBI spokesperson has also said that the agency has deployed resources to the scene, and agents from the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives are also responding. GB News also understands President Trump has been briefed on the situation. The FBI is keeping him up to date. Police in a press conference just moments ago say they still don't know what type of weapon was used in the attack, but they just can confirm it, of course, was a firearm. This is the update given just moments ago.
I can confirm that there are 2 individuals who have died this afternoon, and there are another 8 in critical status, though stable, at Rhode Island Hospital. Those are the only injuries or casualties that we know at this time. But as I mentioned, and it's important to remind folks, these numbers may change. We are still in early hours, but at this time there are 2 deceased and 8 who are critical but stable at Rhode Island Hospital. Additionally, we do not have a shooter in custody at this time. There is a shelter in place in effect for the greater Brown University area. If you live on or near Brown's campus, we are encouraging you to stay home and stay inside. If you're not home at this time, we would encourage you not to return to your homes until the shelter in place has been lifted.
OK, let's have a word now with former CIA operative Michael Waller, who joins me down the line. Michael, good evening. Thanks for your company. Sorry it's under these circumstances. What do we know so far about this situation at Brown? The shooter is still on the loose. Just give us your take, please.
Yeah, we don't have any more facts than that right now. If he's still on the loose, then he could be anywhere. It's a very dense metropolitan area between Boston, New York, and even Washington, D.C. It is the night before Hanukkah starts. We have no idea what the motive is, but we do know that there's a lot of people on the ground and a lot of people in danger as long as he's at large.
Authorities at the press conference given just a few moments ago said that to gain access to the building where most of the shooting took place, it was an engineering building, the shooter, who they describe as a male dressed in all black, would have needed a security card, a kind of student ID card to get into the building. But he did say there were exams going on at the time of the shooting, so traffic, as he describes it, was busy. Lots of footfall, people coming in and out of the building. Just tell us, please, from a security perspective, Michael, what will be happening now with the authorities? Of course, the local police department are there, the FBI are there. Who takes the lead on this kind of thing? And is it a case of the longer the shooter goes unaccounted for, the higher the chance that he gets away with it?
Right. It's a very easy area to leave from. There's an interstate highway system. He could be gone within minutes and then not tracked again if he was good at hiding. Right now, though, you've got the campus police. Every college campus has their own police force. Then you have the city police of Providence, the state police, and then the federal authorities led by the FBI and other agencies. So usually on these investigations, the FBI will want to take the lead, even though it doesn't appear yet to have been a federal crime. But it's really anyone's guess right now who is taking charge. I can't help but suspect that if the gunman was seen we would have some idea of what he would look like. But the fact that they're not even saying what he might look like is suspicious.
Yeah, I think the local police chief who just gave a press conference said, I mean, the only description he gave was that he was dressed in all black and he was seen by eyewitnesses, not police, but by eyewitnesses leaving the university campus on foot. But that was about 5 p.m. Eastern time here in America. So what's that? 2 hours ago. Just tell us, please, Michael, do you know much about Brown University itself? Where does it rank in terms of prestige? What kind of students go there?
It's a member of the Ivy League, so it's right in the same league as Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Columbia University. So it's in a very prestigious group of the most prestigious East Coast universities. It's a very old university. It was founded in the late 1700s by businessmen in the area, and so it's it's one of the most prestigious in the country.
President Trump has just spoken to reporters in the past couple of moments. Of course, we had that confusion from President Trump and Brown University themselves initially around about an hour ago, saying the shooter had been apprehended. Then they said he wasn't and he was on the run. President Trump, a moment ago, speaking to reporters live on camera, saying, "What a terrible thing it is. All we can do right now is pray for the victims and for those who were very badly hurt. It's a shame," said President Trump. It's a shame. Michael, what kind of risk would it have posed to students taking cover and shelter to see that alert from Brown University and the post from President Trump, who was just, just going off Brown University's update, initially saying the shooter had been apprehended? What kind of risk would that pose to the students?
Well, there are a whole lot of risks. There's a risk of doing something and there's a risk of not doing something. So it's really anybody's guess. I would tend to listen to what the authorities advise. But on the other hand, I don't usually listen to the authorities' advice myself. I usually try to scope out the situation and to see what would be the most useful, depending, because nobody can know what the right thing is to do at the right time. Notably, though, in Rhode Island, you have a very strict. You've got very strict laws in Rhode Island against. Pardon me?
Yeah, sorry, carry on. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay, our end. Apologies, carry on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Rhode Island has very, very, very strict laws against private citizens carrying firearms. So it's not the kind of state where people can protect themselves, defend themselves, or apprehend the suspect on their own. So it would be much a bigger challenge to do than in other states where they don't have such strict laws.
We're just seeing some live pictures now. If there's any viewers watching on television, the image on your right-hand side is a live helicopter shot of I believe it's the engineering building, but it is, at the very least, it's Brown University, it's the campus. And on the left-hand side, that's a shot of the main streets from a little bit earlier today, this evening, about maybe 30, 20 minutes ago, of the surrounding streets. Lots of ambulances, police cars, of course, as well. Michael, do you know what the sort of gun laws are in Rhode Island? I suspect very strict compared to, say, the likes of Arizona or somewhere like that.
Right. They're very strict in most of the urban New England area, like New York City also, which is not part of New England, but they're very strict gun controls there. And universities in general usually don't allow students to carry arms on campus. But even local members of the community in a place like Providence, Rhode Island, would not be allowed to be armed generally on their own.
Lots of eyewitness reports coming in, Michael. There's the mother of a Brown University student shared a text to reporters that she received from her son during the shooting. The text message read, "Mum, there's a live shooting on campus. I'm going to run. I love you." Apparently, he's still barricaded in a closet, in a cupboard with multiple other students. And I guess the advice for any students now, with the gunman still on the run, is stay where you are, Michael, because this is a 150-acre site, the university. It's one of the largest institutions, areas or buildings, campuses in Providence. There's 230 buildings on site. There's bio labs, there's campus buildings, there's accommodation blocks. So although the gunman was apparently seen leaving the campus at 5 p.m, there is still a chance he could be on site.
Right, and it's smart in this case to take the authorities' advice if it's a confined area like that. But again, I'm not going to second guess what they're doing in a life or death situation. But again, it is up to each student to figure out the right thing, the most sensible thing to do.
Okay, just hang on the line, Michael, if you will. I'm going to bring in my panel here in DC, the political commentator Hilary Fordwich and the border security and immigration expert Simon Hankinson. Good evening to you both. Thanks for your company. Simon, I guess I'll come to you first, a border security and immigration expert. What's your take on what's happening tonight in Brown University?
Well, I mean, your hearts go out to the parents and the students at this time right before the holidays. I didn't realize it was the night before Hanukkah. They're probably in the middle of exams. I always am very careful not to speculate on who it is. I noticed they've said what he was wearing and that it was a man, but not, what ethnicity he was, what age he was. So we'll have to really hold off on that, and there'll be all kinds of speculation over the internet in the next few minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah, Hilary, how quickly should the authorities try and get a description out or any more information? Because compared to, say, the UK, I mean, the UK take their time with these kind of things. It can be days or weeks before we get any sort of image or CCTV. But America, they seem to be quite quick off the blocks, don't they?
Yes, they are. They're far quicker off the blocks as soon as they know. But of course, they have to be very careful not to be too fast and get anything incorrect. They are in the middle of exams tonight. I know that this actually occurred in the building of the design and engineering exam. And the campus, don't forget, the campus has like about 7,000 or so, 7,600 or so undergraduate students, about 3,000 graduate students. So there's about 10,000 students. There's a lot there on campus, all focused on their exams. So a totally ghastly situation. And I'm like Simon, and you, of course, our thoughts go out to the families, because if you have a student there, and we mentioned earlier, I mean, this is one of, the elite universities in the United States. You've got families and parents with their children there, students studying and ready to come home for the holiday season and Hanukkah and the Christmas season. I think, though, in terms of the identity, the moment they are certain, they will get that out. That happens in the United States versus England. It's very different.
Yeah, authorities, if anyone's just tuning in, if you're coming in from your Christmas party tonight on The Late Show Live, there's a mass shooting event taking place, or having taken place, in Brown University in Rhode Island on the east coast of America. We can confirm, as it stands at the moment, 2 people have sadly been killed. 8 are in a critical condition in hospital, more injured as well. The gunman, critically, is still on the loose. They don't know where he is. He was last seen leaving the university campus at around 5 p.m. shortly after the shooting, at around between 4:30 and 4:45 p.m. Eastern time. That's American time. We're 5 hours behind the United Kingdom in terms of the time zone. So the gunman is still on foot as it stands. The authorities encouraging people to stay inside their buildings, their classrooms, their halls, their accommodation until there's more updates. The only description we have is that the gunman was a male and he was dressed all in black, and he would have needed, according to the authorities, a security pass, a student ID pass, to get inside the building where this took place. Hilary Fordwich just mentioning there, it was an engineering and design building. There were exams taking place at the time, and the authorities have said foot traffic would have been very high, i.e. many people on site going in and out taking their exams. So there is a possibility he wasn't a student, maybe he just slipped in, but we don't know, we can't confirm. Michael, are you still there with us now? Just tell us, if you can, from a police authority perspective, what will be their priority now? How will they try and trace this guy? What will be the mode of action?
They traced them through the security cameras and through the card that was used to enter the building. He might have stolen the card, he might have passed through with someone else, or he might have been associated with the university in some way. We just don't know, but those would be the first 2 steps, followed by the eyewitnesses and then by any ballistics material that was left at the scene.
Okay, Michael, thanks for your company this evening. Appreciate it. Maybe we'll try and come back to you a bit later on during the show, but for now, thank you very much. I think Louise Mensch, former Conservative MP, can join us now down the line. Louise, of course, a former MP in the UK, but now living in New York. Louise, are you there?
I am.
Hello. Your take, please, on what we're seeing this evening at Brown University.
Well, what struck me about the very limited description that we got of this guy was that he was wearing all black. And as your guesser pointed out, they didn't say what race he was, just that he was a man wearing all black. I must say what I took away from that is that he's likely, I guess we'll find out soon enough, to have been masked or trying to conceal his identity. And if so, that is perhaps more frightening than if it was a random mentally ill student who shot and then ran away. Normally these guys get caught by the police, normally they get taken down and they get shot. This guy apparently has got away and was wearing all black. Another reason that students should be sheltering in place until they're told to do otherwise is the authorities don't know right now if there's more than one shooter, or if this was some kind of conspiracy, if it's some kind of group doesn't like Jews, it's Hanukkah tomorrow, or it's a disgruntled student because it was the first day of exams for the people in that faculty. The exams literally were meant to start today. So you've got to think it's a disgruntled student, but they cannot be sure about that. And it looks like he actually wanted to get away, and so far has been successful. So until this guy's caught, people need to be very frightened and they need to stay where they are.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Charlie Kirk shooting in September. We heard the news that Charlie Kirk had been shot, he'd been killed, and then it took some hours. As far as I remember, what was it? At least 12
Days.
Hours. Early into the next morning, we had information about his arrest finally, but there was a fairly long period where the guy was getting away. Just as a reminder on tonight's breaking news, if you're just tuning in to GB News and The Late Show Live, an active shooter has been reported on or near the campus of Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. Multiple people have been shot. 2 people have been killed as it stands, and 8 are in a critical condition in hospital. There is no suspect in custody, and an active shooter remains at large. He was last seen leaving the campus building by eyewitnesses at around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's about 2 and a bit hours ago. Within the past few minutes, President Trump has spoken to reporters where he said, "I've been fully briefed on the Brown University situation, what a terrible thing it is, and all we can do right now is pray for the victims and for those that were very badly hurt."